Confessions of a Film Poser!
Hey, welcome back. It's me, Vince.
Hey, I'm Eli.
And we are...
Film Posers. October. You know what that means, right? Football is back in full swing, the air's getting crisp, the leaves are changing, and Michael Myers is sharpening his cutlery because Halloween is right around the corner. And hey, remember those old McDonald's Halloween commercials from the 90s? Pure nostalgia. That has absolutely nothing to do with today's episode. I just wanted to take a second to reminisce. Now, horror films are a genre favorite here at Confessions of a Film Poser, which means finding a horror movie that neither Vince nor I, but mostly Vince, have seen is no easy feat, but we found one. And it's not just any horror film. It's a Brian De Palma joint. That's called Two Birds, One Stone, my friends. The movie we're talking about is, of course, Carrie from 1976. Carrie was Brian De Palma's breakout hit, and it holds a special place in horror history. It was the very first film adaptation of a Stephen King novel. King's book had only come out in 1974, and De Palma wasted no time bringing it to the silver screen. The film tells the story of a shy, bullied high school girl with a fanatical mother who discovers she has telekinetic powers. What starts as a coming-of-age drama spirals into one of cinema's most iconic horror finales, the infamous prom scene drenched in pig's blood. Or, at least that's what we've heard. Thanks for the spoilers, internet. The movie was a major success, praised for its stylish split-screen sequences, slow motion, and the shocking blend of violence with teenage angst. It also launched the careers of its young cast. Sissy Spacek scored an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress, and Piper Laurie was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Today, Carrie is considered a classic of both horror and teen cinema, and it kicked off the wave of Cinnamon King. I am the Cinnamon King. And it kicked off the wave of Stephen King adaptations that followed. So, a Brian De Palma horror movie, and you still haven't seen it, Vince? We need answers.
So I'm going to be an extra poser this episode because not only have I not seen Carrie, I also don't know who Brian De Palma is. And I might get some hate for that. I don't think I've ever even heard his name. Do you have a list of movies that he's done?
Dude, you've never seen a Brian De Palma movie?
I don't know. What do you have?
I'm sure you've seen a Brian De Palma. Carrie.
Nope.
The Fury.
Nope.
Dressed to Kill.
Nope.
Blowout. I know your dad had that in his VHS collection.
Nope. I watched his version, and I don't think it was a Brian De Palma.
All right. Scarface.
Nope.
Body Double.
Another one of my dad's films. Nope.
The Untouchables. The Untouchables, dude.
Never, dude.
The Chicago Way. You've never seen The Untouchables? All right.
No, I was about to say, is the Chicago Way another one?
Dude, Casualties of War with Michael J. Fox and Sean Penn.
Never, dude.
Bonfire of the Vanities. Tom Hanks.
Is that a question? Is that a movie? No, never.
Carlito's Way.
Heard of it. Never seen it.
All right. I know you've seen this one. Mission Impossible 1.
Yeah.
So you know Brian De Palma?
He's excellent, dude.
He did Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. Love Snake Eyes, dude.
Dude, The Black Dahlia?
No.
Dude, all right. So we got some work to do on Brian De Palma. Brian De Palma is a legend in the directing film community, and you need to. I think, dude. So you've been going on this horror fest since the end of August or the beginning of August, where you've watched a horror film a day. I think you've come to an end, right? Or you come to a break.
No, I'm still going strong. I'm going through all the Aliens currently. I'm like 3 or 4 in, plus like the side story that I found. I'm going hard, dude, and it's probably taxing my emotional health, but that's okay.
All right, so Carrie then is the perfect jump-off point because this was like his first breakout big hit movie. This is a classic Stephen King adaptation. And, dude, I think after Horror Fest, you need to spend the month of November going through a De Palma Fest and watching all of these movies. After this, you'll have seen 3. You'll have seen Carrie, you'll have seen Mission Impossible, and you'll have seen Snake Eyes. And Mission Impossible is not really a good representation of like a Brian De Palma. I mean, it is. Don't get me wrong. Great movie, but you need to go on the De Palma Fest. So that's why you've never seen it. You don't even know who Brian De Palma is, so that means nothing to you. I have never seen this movie. This one has never appealed to me. And in the intro, we talked a little bit about how this was kind of like a teen angsty movie. I think that's what kept me away from it. Like when I was a teen, this movie was 30 years in the past. I wasn't somebody in my teens I wasn't a cinephile in my teens. I was like, let's go to the movies. And there was movies that I enjoy. There was movies that I grew up watching with my dad and my mom, who were both, big movie fans. And it's a way that we kind of all connected as a family. And so that is kind of what led me to seeking out more and more movies. But then as I really started to take it seriously, I started to get into more stuff. So this one just never really appealed to me. I know the classic pig blood scene because it's been in everything. I think it's been in The Simpsons. I think it was in Superstar, Mary Catherine Gallagher. You see this one all over the place. But I don't know. And Stephen King adaptations, dude, really are hit or miss for me. There's been really good ones. Misery is one of my personal favorites. Yeah. Fantastic movie. The Shining. Come on. There's a lot of movies that he's done. I think is Pet Sematary Stephen King.
It is. And The Shining, I think he hated the film version of it because it was different than the book. But even then, like, I think I just watched it and I was telling Paige, my girlfriend, about it. And I don't think the book version would have gone well for the year that movie was made.
No,
so
it would have.
So the way that he filmed it, Kubrick, and the way that it went through was a perfect movie. And I probably bored her because I went on like a 15-minute rant about how like this family was on the edge and going to this hotel took them over the edge, and how the book kind of had that, but also had more like monsters coming after them and shit. And I love The Shining so much.
Yeah, and like you can't really there's a lot of movies that have been adapted that aren't good, and there's a lot of stuff that you have to cut out to make a movie because a book is a different medium than a movie, and you have uber amount of time to tell a story. And a movie is oftentimes, in my opinion, a cleaner version. And I know that there's some book people out there, maybe including Paige, your girlfriend, that's which I understand. But Carrie is just never been something that's appealed to me. I know it's a classic. I know it's one I got to check off my list. So I'm excited to watch it. I hope I'm completely wrong. I ordered the 4K Blu-ray, so I'm committed to it, even if I don't like it. And I'm kind of going into this one going, I bet this one's just going to be all right in my book. And, if you've got a problem with that, let me know in the comments and tell me why you love it. Now, I've been wrong 3 out of 3 times. So as have you, Vince. So we might come back on this one and be like, bro, this dude, Carrie, why have we never seen? We're stupid. De Palma. And now you know who De Palma is. So
we're going to get De Palma boy tattoos, dude.
Yeah, dude. So I without further ado, we shouldn't waste any more time. Let's watch the freaking movie. Let's send it off with future Vince and Eli. And let's get this going, all right?
All right, dude. Oh, no. Is that the pig's blood? Elijah, wake up. It's future Vince.
They're all going to laugh at you.
The movie's over.
Oh.
We did it.
Oh, it's over?
It's over, dude. Fortunately, it's over.
So we're now future Eli and Vince?
Both of us have watched it.
Oh, boy. Hey everyone. Thanks for joining us back for part 2. Yeah, we watched Carrie from 1976, Brian De Palma's first breakout movie. And Vince, what'd you think of it?
Oh, man. Am I just breaking the news?
Listen, as the resident horror expert and definitely the person on this channel that's watched the most horror, where does that movie line up for you?
I hated it. If I'm being honest, I was very excited for this. Unlike the other movies that we've seen, I think this is a movie that I kind of knew the most of. I feel like it's impossible to live 37 years of your life and not know the iconic pig blood drenched Carrie screaming and killing everyone. So I finally did it, dude. And I was not a fan. What about you?
Yeah, no, I did not love this movie. From beginning to end, I felt like this movie was one sequence that was cool. Much like you, it's a movie. This movie is like one that you put in the category of it's referenced so much in sometimes other horror movies or TV shows, or it's really, moved across the pop cultural lexicon. But yeah, I don't understand what people see in this movie. And this is an appeal to you. If you're watching this and you've seen Carrie and you love Carrie, please, in the comments, tell us why you love this movie, because I'm just genuinely kind of astounded that this is heralded as a classic in the horror realm.
Yeah, I don't know what we missed. I definitely watched the entire movie, and there was a part of me that knew that there was going to be a build. It was building up to something that was going to be big, and I guess to take it back, there was no build. It was a tormented girl that was tormented by all of her classmates. I feel like the one person that was like trying to take care of her was her PE coach, which it never really established why the PE coach was trying to take care of her. But even then, like it opens with the PE coach slapping her across the face because she's hysterical, and then it's like I'm just worried about you, and it's like, well, you just smacked me in the face. I don't know if I would trust you to be my guardian when it comes to school. I don't know.
Yeah. So before we go any further, I definitely hold that thought. I'm just going to read a brief summary of the movie.
Oh wait, I got you.
You got it ready?
My own.
Okay.
I have one. Are you ready?
Just in the event that you haven't watched this movie, this isn't like one of the previous movies, and we're recording this one a little bit in advance of when it's going to be released because I'm going on vacation. And some of the other movies we watched recently have been absolutely legendary and awesome and hold up to the hype. So yeah, go ahead and read the summary and then we'll get popping.
Well, that being said, maybe we messed up by watching Vertigo directly before watching this because the threshold was so high after Vertigo.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Here's the breakdown. I'm going to be reading it. It's basically a story of a shy high school girl who just wants to fit in, but instead it gets a makeover and winning prom queen in a feel-good teen movie.
I love how it starts with it's basically like it's written like a Valley Girl, which I talk like a Valley Girl, so I that's no judgment, but I just that's what it
truthfully the synopsis. Yeah, the synopsis that I'm reading is written kind of like the dialogue in this movie, dude.
Well, I'll say this: the summary of the movie is very thin for a movie that itself is very thin. And I'm not just talking about Carrie White. I wanted to like this movie. I wanted, I've mentioned this a ton of times. We both love horror movies. We've both seen a majority of the tentpole classic horror movies with a very there's a handful that we haven't of like the bigger. We're trying to start with some of the bigger legendary movies that have, a status that kind of travels decades. I would say this is one of them. But at the same time, I don't see why. And again, I appeal to anybody that loves this movie. Explain why in the comments why you love this movie. And I don't understand. I'm my guess is that at the time it came out, maybe there wasn't a lot of female kind of horror icons. Because I guess you could say Carrie both works as like the movie monster and the final girl in a certain way.
Yeah, but I feel like they didn't do a good job of you like caring about her at all.
No, and as
I didn't feel
that. As a male who would have been killed many a time by females that had telekinetic powers, I didn't. You're 100% right. Let's start back with the characters of this story. My biggest problem with this movie is that you don't care, about the characters at all. You don't spend. I don't love the structure of the story of this. They tell you exactly what's going to happen basically in the first 10 to 15 minutes of this movie. You instantly know that Carrie's got telekinetic powers. There's no build up to it. There's no honing of a telekinetic skill.
She read a book. She read a paragraph from a book.
Yeah, she read a book and she was bullied, which, at the start I was going, oh, this is going to be an uncomfortable movie because it's going to make you feel sad that this girl is getting bullied. And I guess you do, but the bullying, like the whole thing is sparked with her getting bullied because she has her period in the shower. Her mom's this religious nut that hasn't told her about the human body or the female body and equates everything to sexuality and intercourse.
Yeah.
and sin, and this over the top religious kind of, backwoods lady who, almost carries around like a mental disability as a result. And so the movie starts with her getting made fun of. To your point, the gym teacher comes to her defense and then tells all these girls they have a week of detention, which a week of detention is nothing. It's certainly nothing to get mad about. And from this,
but if they don't attend detention, they don't get to go to prom. And the girls that the girls that really want to go to prom go through the detention, but then still don't go to prom.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. And I guess because they're so committed to embarrassing Carrie that, they devised this plan that, again, imagine how much better this movie would have been if they didn't tell you what their plan was and what they were trying to do at prom.
But it's also like one girl's plan. She didn't even key in her friend. Her friend came up with the plan. Sorry, I'm everywhere on this. The friend came up with a plan to have her boyfriend take Carrie to the prom, but she wasn't in on the actual joke of it all. So nor was he. There was only one girl and John Travolta, which this might be possibly. John Travolta was gorgeous in this movie, but his acting was terrible. Dude, that was prime.
I mean, this is 2 years before Danny Zuko, so we Travolta's still like trying to get there. He's trying to make it. Yeah, like that's a great point. Like it's so thin, and you spend so much time with these characters in the seduction of the lead chick who is the one that's most scorned and is the one that's trying to architect them spilling pig's blood and them fooling Carrie into believing. Number one, you don't spend hardly any time with Carrie. The biggest problem is that you don't know who Carrie is other than she's been oppressed by her overly zealous religious nut mom, but there's no build up to the telekinesis. That's my biggest problem is imagine if this movie spent the time of her honing this skill in the lead up to what's going to happen at the prom. And then at the end, and so all of this happens, all of these people are in on it, but they're not really in on it. And I guess they tried to build in some redemptive quality that they didn't know instead of just having them all be mean. And then she finally goes to the prom. She whips her mom up with her telekinesis. Her mom thinks she's a witch. She goes to prom. She gets the pig's blood dumped on her. And that's the coolest part, the lighting and the fire and all this stuff. But I'm sitting there going, okay, the payoff here, even though the plot is extremely thin and the character is extremely thin, there's going to be some heads that pop at the end of this thing with the telekinetic powers. But there's none of that.
There's none of that. There's a fire hose that looks like a limp noodle and it's just pushing people over. And I recently watched, have you ever seen or heard of the movie Prom Night? Yes. With Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah, I just bought that on VHS, actually.
Okay, yeah. I spent all of August watching horror movies I've never seen before, and I saw a lot of great ones, and I saw a lot of really bad ones. Prom Night was not one of the greatest ones I saw, and watching it, I was thinking, this is a ripoff of Carrie. I can't wait to watch Carrie to see this well done. I may say that Prom Night might have been a better movie than Carrie.
Well, if Jamie Lee Curtis was in it, it's automatically better. And Sissy Spacek is good casting for the role of Carrie, but I just, again, you don't really care all that much about her other than the superficial, oh, she's been bullied. And really the bullying is they wrote something nasty about her on the wall.
Yeah, and Carrie White eats shit.
Yeah, which is kind of funny.
Which is kind of funny. And then also I thought that scene was funny because the maintenance man was cleaning the wall next to that. He wasn't even cleaning the message,
dude. And then let's go back to the end when she finally does all the eyes and that was cool to see. That sequence was cool, but that's an hour and 10 minutes into the movie, and you had to sit through all these 30-year-old actors playing teenagers. And the scene where the fire hose, I was sitting there, I was in, watching it in disbelief going, this reminds me of an old Three Stooges bit with Joe Besser. Not even like the good Three Stooges bit where like, cause I know they've done that fire hose thing before. And it was like kind of done the same way. Like the special effect in 1940 or 50 was the same that I was seeing in 1976. And then like the electrocution thing, and then the fire was cool, but it was just dumb, dude. Like the whole thing, I don't know. Like, and knowing that Brian De Palma kind of rushed this after a couple years after Stephen King put it out. And I bet you the book, this is going to be the case where I'm going to go on a limb and say the book's probably way better.
Yeah.
Because you
I would hope.
you get real character development. But I didn't like this movie at all. Even John Travolta is like, I don't know. It's like they made such a point of like, framing his dreaminess, but he had like no role. And like the scene at the pig's farm, I'm like, unless you show him like draining the pig of its blood, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get why people love this movie.
I don't either. You hear about Stephen King's hate for The Shining. I want to see his hate for the way that this movie depicted his story of Carrie. Because I would, again, like you just said, I would imagine that the book Carrie has to be way better than this. Has to be story development, has to be character development, has to be like an engaging story. This just was not. The entire time I'm looking at my phone saying like, okay, when is it going to get good? When am I going to see the scenes that are supposedly iconic? The way that it was shot, her breakdown at the prom night and blowing it up. The way that it was shot was really cool, but the effects were terrible. There's a part where he does like, I think it's called like diptych, where they have like two frames put together. The artsiness of those scenes were great, but that was the only time that they did anything cool with that movie. The rest of it was just garbage, dude.
Yeah, there wasn't really a style like, Brian De Palma has done good movies. So like this very much felt like the first kind of movie of a movie director. Again, I don't know why it's held in such high regard. Maybe it was, and maybe we just have seen this type of movie so many times. I just thought it was so thin, and it was like not a fun movie to watch. It was really felt like homework. And there's also like, that's what I felt about the movie. I mean, there's not much more to say. There's not much more I can pull out of it because it was very on the nose with everything. I mean, it told you, it was very rudimentary. It felt like they were going like, okay, this scene happens. And then, oh, now they're in detention. Oh, now Carrie's at home. Her mom's mean and she has telekinetic powers. Oh, now they're back. Now she's really mad and she's going to devise a plan to embarrass Carrie. But that's it. Like, there's not a lot more to it than that. And I'm not saying a movie has to be Vertigo or 2001: A Space Odyssey and have all this hidden meaning and make you decipher, but it would certainly help. And I think that this movie could have been a lot better if you actually spent time with Carrie and you actually had a series of things of trauma and bullying that happened to her on her path to also honing and figuring out that she has telekinetic abilities. And yeah, I mean, that's it. And there's also, I mean, that's what I felt about the movie. Honestly, I'm probably not going to watch this movie again. And I bought it on 4K. Yeah. And so it'll sit on my shelf. And I don't think I'll ever watch this movie again. This isn't like a Halloween movie. Welcome to the start of October, by the way. Happy Halloween month. I feel
starting
like
strong, dude.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, we had to find one movie that we were going to like. And I guess this is the first one. But it felt like this isn't a movie that you would even throw on in the background. Like you would throw on that one sequence at the prom.
Even then, maybe not.
But what is that? Like a 5-minute sequence? Like there's,
yeah.
Like we get it. Like she's going to be embarrassed. She's bullied. This isn't going to play out. Like the twist, I guess it's a twist if you want to call it that, of them not knowing that she's being bullied. And then was the gym teacher, like then there's the sequence where they're all like shocked and in horror. And then it almost played like she was imagining that they were laughing at her. Was that the implication?
I think so. I think because whenever the blood happens, everyone's in shock. And there's like one guy in the corner that's laughing and she hones in on him, but no one else is. And then it cuts to everyone laughing. So I imagine she's imagining it, and I'm imagining everything that her mom told her has like seeped into her brain, and she's kind of living out her own fear that's not actually happening. I I really don't know why this movie is held to such a held up as being one of the great horror movies of all time, because I did not feel that way. The go back to the kids bullying her. There's only one scene that would like necessitate. There was only one scene that would like, would whenever they're playing volleyball, she sucks at volleyball, so they make fun of her. Other than that, they're just tormenting her for absolutely no reason. She's not doing anything, which maybe is like what they're going for, is that these girls are just so mean that they found this one girl that no matter what she does or no matter what she doesn't do, they're just going to be mean to her no matter what. But like you said, there's no story development. There's no, oh, Carrie did this, she's strange, let's make fun of her. It was just, let's make fun of her, let's make fun of her, let's make fun of her.
Well, it's almost like Carrie was the B story in the movie, and the A story was these group of bullies. Like, you spend more time with the bullies and everything surrounding that than you do with Carrie and her mom at home, or the real psychological things that she has to deal with. Like, yeah, we get it. Like, there's not much more to it than that. And then there's and Piper Laurie did a good job in playing Carrie's mom, but at the same time, she's so over the top that you don't buy her as like a real character. There's a remake of this from a few years ago, and I wonder if that movie would be better. And I wonder if that movie, I almost am tempted to watch it. I don't think I will, but I'm almost tempted to see how what the differential, or like how it's different from the original, and where they kind of deviate from the original, and if they spend more time with Carrie, because I just didn't care. I didn't care. And there's also an element of this movie that, and I'm not trying to be like a fuddy-duddy, like whatever, but it's almost like they fetishize high school girls. And I understand that these are all like, actresses and actors in their 20s, and they're not really, but they're being portrayed as high school kids. And it just, I don't know. There's parts that it's just not a fun movie. This is not a movie that I would enjoy watching. And I honestly, man, I think I'm going to personally leave it at that.
Yeah. 1 out of 5 rewatchability. I maybe would give it a 0.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I don't even know if I could give it a 1, to your point. Like I think I just want to watch Blowout now, to watch the taste out of my mouth, or Snake Eyes. Please,
in the comments, tell me why we're wrong, because I don't know if we missed something, but I feel like I watched every moment of this movie, and the entire time I was just kind of annoyed that I had to.
I mean, maybe our poserness is betraying our sense of understanding. Maybe there's like more to this movie that we're just completely missing. And if that's the case, let us know. Vince, unless you have something more to add, I think that's it for this episode of Confessions of a Film Poser. We're not big fans of this movie. And hopefully the month of October in terms of movie watching gets better. And, always remember, like, don't piss off the girl that can light a whole auditorium on fire.
Confessions of a Film Poser.